You know, this situation with EDP445 is just oh so chaotic and honestly just an absolute disaster, which is why we're going to talk about it more. Oh boy. So the last video got demonetized, and as we all know, YouTube says that it doesn't affect how the video performs, but it does. So I assume that this is going to happen with this video. Though I have more things I want to say about this entire thing, so I don't care. You know, there was some stuff I should have mentioned in the last video, and I do apologize for not bringing that up, but you know what, having its own video seems a bit more appropriate in hindsight, so yeah, there definitely is an issue with vigilantes doing crime justice and all that. That goes without saying, and I know we've all been having that discussion online if we've been talking about this. There were really good points brought up by people in the comments, and I can't remember now, but yes, certain things like this can muddy the water with investigations. It's not good for an investigation in general. You know, stuff like this, if performed badly, is going to allow people to get off scot-free when the time comes for them to be charged with an actual crime. Though personally, I would argue with EDP, he's never walking away from this. Charge or no charge, he's done. That's it. His life is over. But yeah, this is why situations like this should be left to the professionals. One of you actually even brought up how, you know, they would do like the 60 minutes like To Catch a Predator stuff, and that even people like that were able to go scot-free because, well, some of this does present as a bit of a problem even for police. Listen, this is why if you come across somebody like this or you're on the receiving end of somebody like EDP, what you do is report it to the police. You don't report it to internet vigilantes, you don't report it to Twitter, you don't report it to crazy people, you go to the police. I know the police don't move fast, I know they're incredibly slow, but there's a reason for that. It's because they can't just charge someone as being a predator with no evidence whatsoever. Like the barrier for law versus the internet is just like, it is not the same at all. It's not the same. I don't know why people think that it should be instantaneous. It really shouldn't. There's a great reason for that, because you don't want to charge people that are literally innocent, because that's a huge problem. And it's not like we already don't have a systemic prison problem in America. I'm just saying, since the time of the sting operation from the predator poachers, the police have announced that there is an investigation going on with EDP. But they also said that vigilantes like this are dangerous to investigations, and it's really not the way to go about things, which I've just explained. Now, since that statement was made by the police, I have not been able to find any credible evidence that the police have given any other statements. And considering how little time has passed, they haven't released any other statements. So if you see news sites reporting that they have released other statements, I highly doubt that. Mainly because they're just not going to say what's going on in an investigation. Why would they play all their cards into the public like that? Why would they say that? For example, recently I saw a YouTube channel report on this saying that EDP would not receive jail time based on this news site. And this is why we vet our sources, people. We need to vet our sources so that way we don't report stuff that might be false. And I don't know if this person knew that, which is why I'm not saying who it is. And they're generally a good person, so I don't really want to do that to them. But there were spelling errors in the article. If you have spelling errors from your journalist, one, there's no editor, and two, they might be lying, and I think they are. I haven't been able to find any sources that are from local news or mainstream outlets that are reporting that EDP is not going to ever go to jail. They just said there would be an investigation, but they did not say that he was going to get off scot-free. Why would they have an investigation then? There hasn't been enough time in this situation to even have a definitive ending to it. Investigations like this can take a very long time. There's special sections in police that deal specifically with this. And they can't, for the sake of victims, just run in and just go, "You're arrested." That's not how it works. And they can't, for the sake of victims, just go out to the public and say, "So, we looked into this for 3 days, and we've decided that nothing happened here." And this is with this specific type of police work. I'm not going to speak on other halves because I only have personal, like, anecdotal talking experience with people who did that as a job. I will maybe leave a pinned comment down below when I talk to somebody who has more experience in this, because I can't fit it in the video, obviously, posting. But I just wanted to say, if I have left it, it's down there, so I recommend you read it just in case. What makes this situation even more chaotic and ridiculous, and somebody compared it to like YouTube drama of yesteryear, and you know what, it really does feel like that, because it's between some random guy and some other person that says the N-word a lot. Alex, whose channel name was Chet Goldstein, is the guy who's like confronting EDP, where he's like, you were talking to a 13-year-old girl, yes or no? And then EDP is like, yes sir, I was. And that guy, the ginger guy, has a bit of an eclectic taste, I'd say. He's definitely a fan of using words like the neighbor word, and he uses the neighbor word with a hard R at the end, and we all know that you don't do that in current year. So he was doing a lot of that. Turns out he was actually just as bad of scum as EDP in his own special way. I'm not saying he is as bad as EDP, but he definitely has some sussy stuff going on. There's just clips of him online, just him blasting out the N-word, him having weird conversations with their like, why am I blanking on the word? I'm blanking on the word, but it's on the screen right now. Anyway, he's having weird conversations with the ladies he works with. He just a grand old guy, He really screams kind of like a redneck, kind of hillbilly kind of look. Yeah, he just has that look to him, you know? And what's even better than this is the other guy who has no relation to him. This was just like a collab thing. This guy's being dragged through all of it now, you know, now he's like being directly related to this other guy who's absolutely horrendous, and it's just making him look bad. I will say though, in good news related to this situation, EDP's channel is gone now. It was terminated, which is great in that regard, but he still has other channels. He doesn't use them, but they're up there. But he's not coming back to the internet. There's no way. The last thing I kind of want to touch on before I get out of here and stop talking about EDP is that people are saying that you can't talk about how bad this Alex guy is and also talk about how EDP is, as if saying that this guy is a bad guy is saying that you support EDP. And, you know, that's just an internet debate as old as time. They're like, you can't say they're both bad, you fence sitter, you must pick a side. Shut up. It really, come on, man. Like, obviously we can both say that the both are bad, and then also that it's good that one guy who's bad did a good thing. You know, bad people do good things all the time. That's how the world works. I also see people taking other, like, predator allegation stuff from this and comparing it to other ones in the past. And I also don't think you should do that either. These events are very, you know, it depends on the situation. And you need to be able to look at these things with kind of an objective lens to really view what's going on here. And I know EDP is really cut and dry, but some other situations might not be as cut and dry. You know, the nuances and understandings of that situation are stuff that doesn't come out until years later. So rather than, you know, in hindsight knowing better, maybe just try and look at it from a different angle now and try and understand where certain people are coming from. I mean, there's so many YouTube predator allegation stuff that have happened over the last 2-3 years that it's absolutely ridiculous on one hand. But then on the other hand, you have to start asking at some point, what is going to be quantifiable as that? Because people have been quantifying, like, the stuff with Danny Sexbang, for example, as that being predatory behavior equivalent to being like EDP, and that's not appropriate at all and makes no sense whatsoever because they're completely different situations. And also, don't know if I need to explain this, Danny Sexbang, not a pedophile. Last part about vetting sources today, right? Because I had to cram recently on journalism history, but there's a thing where you vet your sources and try and figure out why exactly they do what they do. And there's actually a whole listing of determining whether or not these sources are usable or not. They're from, I think it is a New York Times editor and another editor from a newspaper. And they were both cited in this book. I'm just going to put that. These things are on screen right now. You see these? That is what you would use if you want to vet a source, really, you know, and you should do that. Which is why it annoys me when I go to every single, like, blog reporter on this EDP stuff. And you know who they cite? Deaf Noodles. How hard is it for you guys to do a little legwork? It's your job. This is what you do with your day. This is what you're supposed to do. Maybe you shouldn't have the people from the internet drama beat covering the crime beat and vice versa. Or maybe you should get people that specialize in it so that way they don't report using Deaf Noodles' content because it is not good or reliable. Oh, they also use Keemstar on this one. And I will also say that maybe look at Keemstar's track record and just determine whether or not you should be using him. I think Keemstar's not that bad of a guy, personally. Anyway, this EDP stuff is just really chaotic, but then also exhausting at the same time. So I think next time I'll be talking about Gabbathy Hannity. So, you know, that should be fun. She's been having a bad time on Twitter.com lately, and honestly, I think it's about time we had a sit-down talk with her. I'm like the Dr. Phil of the internet here, okay? Anyway, guys, be safe and be well, and don't talk to weirdos on the internet, and shout out to the people who work in Special Victims Unit and sex crime. That has to be one of the most exhausting jobs on earth, so thank you for doing that. Anyway, guys, take care. And please do not give him the cupcake.